Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
This is Zack and Angelo from Bracket.
And you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I am your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a huge privilege to have Zack and Angelo of the band Bracket. Bracket is set to release their 9th full-length album via Fat Wreck Chords May 31st. And I have been a fan of these guys for a very long time, and I cannot thank them enough for helping me when I was growing up and listening to all types of music, but punk rock during that time was my thing. And also I love metal, but I was more of a punk rock fan at that time. So again, thank you guys for what you have done and you know, helping me and others out there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know you're usually doing the awesomest interviews, but we're filling in for somebody tonight, and we're just glad you made some room for us.
Shit. So let's dive right into this, guys. It's been a while since Bracket has put out an album on Fat Wreck Chords. However, you guys played Fat Wreck Chords' 25th anniversary party in San Francisco. How's it been coming back to Fat Wreck Chords and putting a new album out with these folks now?
It's great. We're super happy to have a home to get these songs out to, and we're fully prepared to put it out ourselves. And luckily, we sent it to them, and they liked what they heard and felt it was something that they could work with. And in a couple of days, it'll be unleashed to everybody else to listen to.
What about working with Fat Mike when he approached you guys to say, hey, come back, let's work on this? What was your thoughts on that? I know you guys known him for a very long time with no FX, and plus you guys are no strangers to each other, but working with him on this when he approached you, what was you guys thinking on this?
Well, I think we were kind of at a point where we were happy to play the anniversary show. You know, they had done a lot for us in years past, and it was kind of a celebration of the history of Fat Records. So we felt kind of honored or whatever that they invited us to come play when we were happy kind of doing things on our own for many years at that point. So that was in 2015, I guess,
Yep.
A few years ago. So when we played, we got a good response, and it was fun, and it was the first time we'd played in quite a few years. And when he approached us after the show, I think he kind of surprised us by saying, hey, why don't you guys do another record for Fat? Because at that point we were, I don't want to say resigned to the fact, but we were okay with and accepting that we were recording and releasing our own music until we were ready to throw in the towel. So when he approached us with that, it was kind of like, it was an opportunity and something fun and different to go down that road again, to work with them.
It was a big shot in the arm for our band too, because it gave us kind of like a renewed sense of purpose in a way, where we had a goal that, you know, not only was somebody else interested, but somebody else maybe I don't know, it might be too strong of a word to say, but they were almost kind of counting on us. So we,
that's too strong of a word.
That's far too strong. But I don't know. I mean, it's like we had to kind of work a little bit harder because we were going to be working with somebody else and not just ourselves. So that kind of...
So 3 years later.
Yeah. 3 years later, we started getting to work on it.
Right.
You guys have been doing this for a very long time, but what's impressed or excited you guys the most about working on this new album, if anything possibly that stands out for you guys?
I don't know. I guess the aspect of working on an album with a specific purpose. And I think really, like, the last few records that we've done, we have come up with our own sort of inspiration. You know, for Requiem that we worked on that that ended our relationship the first time with Fat was the inspiration for that was that we were getting to record ourselves and to do all the crazy things that we could do in our own studio. And the next album was, the inspiration behind that was kind of getting back together after several years and working on new stuff. And the one after that, it's basically, I think that we get inspired to work on things when we have a goal in mind. And the record that came before this was the 70-minute album where we were weaving together almost 100 different parts of songs.
Which we were right in the middle of when Mike asked us to do another record with Fat.
Yeah.
And we told him, we've got something we're working on right now. We'll send it to you when we're done. And after that, if, we can do the stripped down album that you're looking to hear from us again. So we kind of had, our plate was full at the time. And rather than drop something that we were right in the middle of, we powered through over the course of 3 years, finishing that.
We petered out for 3 years.
So how's it feel too, getting back together and working together as Bracket? I mean, I'm sure you've not lost anything together. I'm sure this is just like a well-fit glove. It's right on and going forward.
It's like an old shoe. It still fits. Well, we're all, at the risk of sounding too corny, we're actually all good pals, and we hang out outside of doing band stuff. Not as often as we'd like to, but we're all best friends and have been from the beginning. So for anybody who's listening, it's just like you and your three best buddies from, grammar school, middle school, or high school, and still hanging out all the time. And you're kind of on a collaborative hobby, So it's super fun for all of us. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it.
This may seem like a crazy question, but I've noticed a lot of your music, what drew me to you guys is the harmonies. It's kind of like that Beach Boy, Brian Wilson harmonies deal that's in your music. Is this important for the sound of Bracket? I mean, is this very important to you guys to add in your music?
Man!
No, it is.
I think it's something that we make fun of ourselves a lot and are very critical of everything that we do.
We're just trying to beat everybody else to the punch.
But I think that it's something that we have not made a goal of, but it's something that we really appreciated in other music, and it's something that we feel like we can pull off most of the time, and it has become an important part of the music. I mean, with this new album, I think we I don't want to say we took a step back, but we were a little more nuanced with our harmony layering.
But they're still there in every song.
They're there.
Yeah. I can hear it. I can hear this new album, what you're talking about, compared to the other ones. I can definitely hear it for sure.
Yeah.
But it's still good though. I mean, I think harmonies is great in a song and an album, but that's just me. That's just what I like. So everybody has their own different.
We do too. I mean, we're big fans of music that like from the 60s that where people were, well, okay, you already said it, the Beach Boys and and the Beatles to a certain extent were kind of doing creative things with that, and that was, I guess we've spent a lot of years finding ways to weave some of those influences into this kind of music. So this is just another version of that.
It's kind of like having another instrument, really, for us. You can kind of make a chord out of all these different voices and stuff, and it kind of adds like a little color and a little flavor, a little spice, if you will, to some of the stuff that we're already doing. And
like the Spice Girls.
Yeah.
Spice Boys.
It just kind of adds another little extra layer in there, and we try to do it in a way where it's not super obnoxious or over the top, and maybe it's something you don't hear until the second listen or maybe later on, but we try and leave enough things in there where if you're interested enough to keep listening, then you're kind of peeling back more layers. We're like a 7-layer burrito that way.
We like 7-layer harmonies.
Any songs standing out more to you than any right now on the new album? I know it must change every time you listen to it. I know these are your babies, but are there any that stand out for you guys possibly?
Actually, we're sick of them all.
I don't know. I think that this album, more so than previous ones, was everything is very concise, and I don't think there's any. I don't think there's any filler in previous albums either, but it's so short. The album's like 25 minutes long. I think.
There really wasn't any room for any filler.
yeah, we had so much material, but we, I don't know. I think it's over before you know it. So I really like that. I like Zack's song. I like hearing Zack doing lead vocals. That was something new and different. And
me too. I was going to say the same.
Yeah,
actually,
you were
that's
waiting for me to say that.
Yeah, it's the one that I say.
So that's going out of style in style.
It's all about Zack. All about Zack.
All about Zack.
That's the bracket pick of the week, folks.
Was it hard, guys, to choose between the current set of songs on the album? Which one would be the first single that you want to put out there and push, possibly?
It was kind of tough because we had heard all of these songs, hundreds of times with writing, rehearsing, mixing, recording. I mean, we had heard all these songs more than anybody else is ever going to hear them.
Yeah, I think it was hard to be
objective.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, you kind of lose focus when you have seen these songs from just, messing around together, coming up with ideas, to recording, to mixing, and seeing it through to the end. That it's hard to even know what people would like.
In fact, Fat asked us, well, what do you guys like for a single? And we said, well, we don't know. Here's our top 3, and of course they picked a couple that had nothing to do with that.
Right from the start, I know that Aaron, the co-owner of Fat, really liked Can from the Food Drive, and she was pretty vocal about that being her favorite song. And so I think that the people at Fat kind of, they still asked whether or not we agreed with that, and we kind of felt like we trusted their opinion more than our own. So that's how that happened.
I know you guys produce your own stuff, but what about this album? Did you guys get to produce this album, or who actually did it?
It was all us.
Okay.
Yeah, we recorded the whole thing we recorded Ray's drums in Zack's garage, and everything else was recorded in Marty's living room.
Well, we did guitars and bass at my house.
Oh, that's right.
I think we did vocals here, and that was it at Marty's house.
Listen to Zack. I don't know what I'm talking about.
But it was all.
Yeah, we did everything, and we sent the unmastered, the mixed yet unmastered album to Fat, and they had it mastered. And other than that, we did it on our own.
Do you guys like having that control of doing it your own? I mean, do you like that? I mean, I know you guys have done it for a very long time, but
yeah. No, for this album for sure, and probably most of the stuff that we have done for the last several albums, we feel like we have a better idea of what we want to do than somebody else. So for us to have control, for lack of a better word, is probably, we feel, is the best for how the album's going to come out.
Yeah, I mean, I think with doing this for so long on our own time and in the comfort of Marty's couch and kitchen and Zack's, garage, I don't think we could. I don't know. I think that we've gotten used to that luxury of getting to set our own schedule and coordinate our schedules among us to when we can work together, and it lends itself to us being creative and coming up with something that we like. It's not. I don't know how we would do if we were suddenly back in a professional studio and given a certain amount of time to hurry up and finish and have someone else telling us how to do it.
And also, I feel like we have to work that much harder because we're not relying on somebody else to say, well, hey, they produced and mixed it. I mean, we're not happy with it, but it wasn't anything we could do about it. And this way, we kind of have to hold ourselves accountable for how it comes out, and that makes us work that much harder.
So when it sucks, we can blame
each other. We'll blame each other. Yeah.
See, it falls back on you, Zack.
Yeah, I know, always.
Especially his song.
So I want to talk about the cover photo, which is pretty cool. You have the Universal monsters on there. Let's talk about this a little bit. Who came up with this idea, and why go that route?
Funny story. So I was going to the bathroom at my parents' house.
Number 1 or number 2?
It was number 2.
Oh, it was odd number.
Okay, so those action figures, I was really into all those things when I was a kid, and my parents saved a bunch of toys from when I was collecting them as a little kid, and I was at my parents' house in Forestville a couple of years ago, and I was checking out their bathroom, and I found the what are they, Dracula and Wolfman action figures, and I was just kind of looking at them, and I took a picture just for fun in the bathroom after I had used it. And
those were your toys those were like your bath toys when you were little, right?
yeah.
And then your kids' toys too.
Yeah. So yeah, they were basically in a bin full of toys that my kids used when they'd take baths at their grandparents' house. And so I took this picture, and Zach remembered. I think I put it on Instagram just a
while ago,
just for fun. And when we started talking about the details for the album, Zach asked if I remembered that picture, and I looked it up. And anyway, it kind of just fit. We all are fans of, horror movies, and just
the less scary the better.
Yeah.
For the funnier and lower
the
budget.
Funnier, yeah. And I don't know, it seemed like something different. We hadn't had a album cover that had that look, and so we sent the picture to Fat when we started to iron out the details with them, and they liked it and had someone work on making it look real.
Yeah, they sent us one thing that we weren't really kind of clicking with 100%, and so we sent them some kind of sample ideas of like the old Universal monster movie posters, and they kind of worked, kind of took that idea and ran with it, and that's how the album art came out.
Plus, it kind of, I don't know if it totally makes sense, but it kind of was funny coupled with the album title, I think.
Yeah.
Just being some greasy old action figures. Greasy.
What do you guys hope everyone takes away from the new album, or message you hope they hear while listening to it, or just any of Brackett's music in general?
Oh, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Well, I think, not that we really set out to be this way, but I think Brackett is just like a regular person's kind of band. Just, you don't have to, it probably helps if you're a musician to listen to some of the musical content, but I think it's really for anybody. And for a lot of our songs are kind of like, I don't know, riches to rags kind of stories, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Riches to rags.
And it's just kind of easier for us to write about, self-doubt and stuff like that, rather than the usual cliche stuff that you might hear in the genre that we kind of get lumped in with. So we're just trying to set ourselves apart a little bit.
And I think with this album in particular, I keep having the thought that, and I'm sure it's not just me, but that we're hoping that this album is something that fans of some of our later albums that we're huge fans of ourselves. We're really proud of the last couple of records that we self-released, and we feel like we really pushed ourselves musically, and we, I guess I already said it, but we're proud of those albums, and we're hoping that people that appreciated those albums can kind of appreciate this new one, while this also pleases people that we're trying to please everyone, basically, is what I'm saying.
For sure. And I think it also comes to, we're trying to not do the same thing all the time, and we're trying to do things to keep ourselves interested also. So it's kind of like, I don't know, anybody who does anything artistic, you don't want to just kind of do the same thing all the time.
Sure.
As yourself.
Sure.
And we're trying to mix it up a little bit. And I think, this might be, while this is definitely a lot more stripped down than the last couple of Bracket albums, this is certainly something that's a departure for us in that way too. And it's also kind of going back to our roots in a weird way. I hate saying that because it sounds super cliche, but it's that, but it's also a lot of the newer tricks and gimmicks that we picked up along the way too.
I think that's some of the feedback that we've already gotten, is that it's a good, appropriate summary of the musical journey that we've taken.
That's what
I guess. Yeah,
you said it better than I did.
A journey's cheesy, but it's kind of it's a little simplified, but it's not as simple as it may sound, I guess. And there are still some more subtle touches, but things that we maybe came up with because we were able to experiment for the last few years. And
it's simple until we dust off the guitars and try and learn these songs again if we ever play live.
I know. No, I think we can learn these. We'll get it.
I hope so.
So do you guys still see yourself musically growing, coming back together, or has it just been more of a personal growth for all of you guys, man?
Like an expanding waistline.
Literally and figuratively.
We're always growing.
I think we've just always found, we've probably completely repeating ourselves here, but I think we've found inspiration in trying different things and just kind of, I don't want to say reinventing, but finding something that kind of reinvigorates us or makes us feel like we're coming at music from a different angle.
When you guys are coming into the recording studio, do you like to do anything differently to keep your minds open and fresh, to not let the music get stale while you're doing the writing and recording process? Do you do anything differently that helps y'all out, possibly?
I don't know. I think we just have fun playing music together, and we get together once a week at the most. So I think that we kind of keep things fresh by not oversaturating ourselves with the process and with with each other. Not that we'd get sick of each other, but I think that when we do get together, it's exciting because we're looking at the.
I think it's a combination of us being focused on what we're doing and why we're there, and also with us having been friends for so long, we've got a bunch of these inside jokes with each other that we just kind of wind up having our own language and cracking each other up, and that's kind of what keeps the monotony down. And sometimes we got to take a break and get something to eat, which is kind of like
that's our joint.
That's our joint. It's definitely a giant burrito or something. But
speaking of,
but it's kind of like four guys getting together in a garage to work on a car. There's not going to be one guy who's off playing racquetball to take a break or whatever. Everybody's there to do a job that they really like doing with people that they really like hanging out with.
So what can fans expect at a show from Bracket who have not got to see you guys live as of yet? What are they going to get when they come to see you all?
What are they going to get?
We can guarantee that our between-song banter is about the worst that you'll ever experience from anybody. It seems like every band that we've ever played with has some kind of a comedian in front of the microphone at all times. We can't do that at all. And we like to tune at full blast between songs.
So there's that to look forward to.
No, I think when you eventually will see us live, you're looking for a medium-paced yet high-energy good time.
I think that the fact, like everything that we've been saying, how we just have fun playing music together and recording, I think that translates to the stage when we decide to grace it. I think even if we're nervous as shit because we don't do it very much and we're very self-conscious and all of that, I think that you can tell that we're having fun and that it's we don't take ourselves too seriously. So hopefully no one else will. Or hopefully so everyone else will. Exactly. Or whatever, either way.
What made you both want to become musicians? What was that spark for each of you?
I don't know.
Girls and money and drugs. but that was back before I was ever in a band. No, I don't know. I think it was just a chance to be creative, and like from my personal perspective, I've got the worst work ethic when it comes to my musicianship. So I always jump at the chance if anybody in Bracket is halfway interested in doing anything at all, I'll jump on it. I try and get them to show me some chords, or I don't know. That for me is really the fun part. It's like I said, it's like a four-way hobby, and we all really enjoy it. And at the same time, we don't want to put the bare minimum effort into it when we're together. We don't want to let anybody else down, or we want it to sound as good as we can.
Is there a country that stands out or shocks you that Bracket gets support from, or your music even gets played in that area possibly still to this day?
I think anytime we hear about any country that plays any of our music, we're shocked and surprised. Yeah. No, I don't know. Well, speaking of other countries, there's this other group called Bracket from Nigeria. So I don't know. We're always surprised to hear that their fans don't know that we're the wrong Bracket. Hopefully none of our fans are thinking that they're us, but
how could you not?
Somehow, I don't know, but somehow I would like to think that there's some Forestville Bracket fans in Nigeria.
I hope so. Otherwise,
I keep telling everybody we're just franchising to different bands called Bracket.
How can you not tell the difference? I mean, you've got punk rock Bracket and you've got the other Bracket. How do you? Come on, folks. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll take all the attention we can get. But
sure.
When it's clear that people are seeking out the other Bracket, we try not to give them too hard of a time, but sometimes it's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
Now, you guys have done a lot of shows, but is there a show for you guys that maybe sticks out more than any possibly that you've done?
I'll let Angelo go first.
Oh, really? Well, yeah, I guess we probably have different highlights because I joined the band just after they kind of went tour crazy for several years.
Well, you just turned 18.
Yeah, definitely not my first show with them because that was nerve-wracking and
you did good.
I felt like an imposter, but that was a long time ago. I don't know. I think actually, I mean, maybe because it's the freshest in my mind, but the Fat 25th thing was while also being pretty nervous about the whole thing. It was fun, and it felt like people weren't too bummed out to see us. So that's always encouraging. So that stands out as a good time, and we got a good response, and we got a record deal again out of it. So I'll go with that. Zach?
For me, I think it's probably one of the shows that we played in Spain, in Madrid. Not the big concert that we did, but not the big Fiesta Mad Festival in '96, but there was another smaller one that we did, and they had naked people jumping up on stage, and it was like a lot of audience participation. It was super duper fun, and it actually went so well that we actually attempted to come back and do a live record at the same venue about 8 or 9 months later, and I think that it was unusable. The sound quality was super duper poor, and our performance I think was pretty okay, but the independent record label that flew us out to record it, I think we never heard back from them again. So I can only surmise that either they went out of business or the recording quality was far too substandard to even put out as a bootleg.
Folks, you want to get
but the one before that was great.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Bracket's 9th full-length album via Fat Wreck Chords. That is going to be coming out May 31st. You want to get out and pick that up. I'm telling you right now, they have some great, great, great music that's out there. So, Zach and Angelo, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, buy this new album that's out, tour dates, things like that? How can they do that?
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook, we're all over it.
We're the non-Nigerian guys. That's how you'll know.
Yeah, just look at the pictures. You should be able to figure it out.
Well, you might have to listen.
You can listen too, yeah. Any new developments will definitely be all over that.
And for the foreseeable future, you can also keep posted on what's going on with us at the Fat Records homepage and social media, the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Before I let you guys go, would you care to do a promo for my show?
This is Zach and Angelo from Bracket.
And you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great, great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please go out and check out our Facebook page. It has our YouTube link, podcast link, and also soon our Twitch link. And also get out and check out Bracket to pick up their new full-length album. This is their 9th full-length album via Fat Wreck Chords. You will not be disappointed in this band. Zach and Angelo, thank you so much for your guys' music, and thanks for doing the interview with me.
Thank you, and thanks to everybody who's supported us over the years.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.